story with you personally, but I can remember being at like a summer camp at 13, and I got off the bus and I was freaking out, yelling for Erin Fisher, who was our camp counselor. And she finally like grabbed me and she's like, I just want to let you know, you're not very easy breezy. You're not very approachable. And in that moment, I had a very approaching topic. Like I was just, I was excited, but obviously I wasn't coming across that way. And I hadn't come across that way enough times for her to say that to me. And so I really think that that's something like that I want to work on. And all too often, I've found like techniques that I would read about or hear about on podcasts. Take a minute, take, a deep breath or something like that. But I still find that my respond versus react can be hours or days in the making. It's not like an impulsive decision. I've sent emails days after, reading it, and I'm still angry about it, and that's still how I reply. So I think that that's really like one of the things that I've struggled with the most, that as I go through this, I'm trying to identify ways is how to just show up for people the way that I want to. Or on the flip side of that, kind of opening up spaces for people to check me, and how do I broach that subject with new people? Hey, I'm working on, responding to you in the best way possible. If that doesn't happen, kind of let me know. And I don't know what that looks like yet on how to have that conversation. I'm still working on it with myself. I always talk to myself like I'm in a movie, like I'm walking down the street, like what song would be playing in the back of my head. So I think the first thing I've noticed is asking myself more of the questions and talking to myself. And I think that's like one of the first steps is trying to identify like what brain I'm in, laughing about sage brain, laughing about PQ reps. And that to me brings joy in itself, just kind of the detective clue things. So I've noticed that that's some of the things that I try to do is like to start is just talk about them. And then I notice as the program goes on and my brain thinking goes forward that I'm actually like unlocking some of the tools. And what's been fun is each week it kind of like adds up. So the first week I struggled and just doing PQ reps, but then the second week we worked on why were we doing PQ reps, and then the third week we went into identifying it, and it's all coming together for me. And so I've noticed that just like exploring it and being a detective naturally, along with doing the steps of the program, have really like pulled things together for me. And I noticed that while I'm still not respond the way that I want to, I'm thinking about it and I'm actively trying to engage my sage brain, rather than just trying to be stubborn. And not to say that that doesn't happen, but again, I think just even talking to myself about it has opened me up to the possibility of enacting my sage brain and converting things. Because I can remember times where like I would be so mad in past years where I'd basically go to sleep. Like I would just go to bed. Like I would got myself up 10 o'clock in the morning. I stubbed my toe and I'm so mad that I basically put myself to sleep because I've depressed for the day over something so silly. How unique would it have been to stop, identify, do a PQ rep, and convert that into something different, and how many days were wasted because I haven't had those tools. And so it's been eye-opening really to go through that and think about what possibilities may come. I mean, there's all sorts of stubborn things that I can think of as a person that I could totally get over, very little ones. Like it's raining and I don't want to go to the store because I hate splashing in the puddles, to get there. But I know my 11-year-old would love to splash in the puddles. Like put your boots on and your jacket and have at it. So there's lots of little wins for me on top of, like the big ones that people would think about. I was in Home Depot. I was redoing my bathroom for the very first time. I had YouTubed everything possible. And of course, in my small town, there's no internet in our Home Depot. Like it's very terrible service. And so specifically one instance, I can remember standing in the plumbing section, basically with like one piece that I've cut out of the wall from my house. And I'm trying to find every little piece that it fits into. And there's another gentleman there who I would say he knows what he's doing. I'm not sure he would say that, but I mean, he's smarter than I am. and I can feel myself becoming embarrassed. And I have glasses on, so I wear sunglasses usually inside, so you can't really see myself, and I'm very shaded, and so I don't make myself approachable, and I'm not approachable. And looking back on this now, this is so silly, but I basically like say to my wife, and she knows we've done this many times. We're just gonna leave the aisle. We will pretend that we've done what we needed to, or we can't find it, and we'll just come back. And we went, another aisle, and eventually we did go back. We found the pieces we needed, but like how silly to be wandering around Home Depot for 2 hours, because the end result was that I was embarrassed in front of someone that I thought they knew what they were doing. And I shared with my group later on, that I had identified that as my inner child, feeling embarrassed that he didn't know what to do in that aisle. And rather than asking for help, like you would tell any child to do, or to feel comfortable and explore like you would tell any child to do. My child chose to hide in the corner of Home Depot in a different aisle until that guy left. And then go back to the aisle and somebody new would be there. So yeah, I mean that's one of the moments that I shared. I think that that's a big moment for me that's helped me. I can't say that every time I go into Home Depot and I look for something for my bathroom that it's going to always work, but I think having that conversation with myself before I go in, kind of prepping my inner child, can be helpful and identifying it in the store. And then one day, the goal would be right that my inner child would ask for help. That if I see somebody in the aisle that's going through it, I'd be like, hey, I'm looking for this piece. Have you seen it? Or I mean, a crazy idea is somebody that wears a vest, that an employee of the store. I could ask them, but with social anxiety, that becomes difficult. So I'm glad to be able to find, that moment in myself, and then hopefully extrapolate that later on down the line and really build upon it. I've found that like there were moments in my life where I was already doing PQ reps. So sitting at my car in the beach and listening to the waves. Those were already moments for me. So I think to identify what those were and to be able to control them and use them in the moments were helpful. To have the PQ reps, specifically for things or just in general, are helpful. Honestly, like I'm a total nerd for it. You probably see this. Like every time I do a PQ rep, I instantly get like a smile on my face. It happens like really quickly. And so I really enjoy that part of the program. I think like that becomes the foundation of it. And then the rest of it for me was just like, sugar on top of the sundae, because it just builds upon it with the empathy. And well, as I shared earlier, Kayla and I, my wife and I, we were very sad to find out that our live coach session was coming to an end for this part of the program. Um, I would say it's immense, because if you think about every time you as my coach gives me feedback or redirects me when perhaps my ideas are not in line with what we're learning, that's a moment that I might have missed if I was doing it by myself. I wouldn't have had redirection or enhancement of the material through this dialogue. I think it's made the entire world of difference, because otherwise it would be like me and the app, and that's not so much fun. And I'm one of those people that, the accountability part for 8 weeks has been really helpful as part of showing up, and it gets you immersed into it. And I've learned so much from not only you, but the other people in my pod who, have shared their stories, and I get to see through a different lens how people are learning the program, and that helps me in turn learn in different ways than I think maybe the program had intended. The program was or is new. The ideas are new. I feel like the material my coach in the pod is energizing, and I feel change. I feel changing, and I don't want to speak too far for my pod mates, but I think I see them changing, or at least they've verbalized change. So it's been really good so far. With this program, the PQ reps I'm doing every day, I'm thinking about it every day. I have a journal where I get like really excited because I don't want to forget something to share it with my pod mates. Or I'm excited to put on a PQ rep with my coach's voice on it, because not only am I doing the rep, but the voice alone brings me comfort of someone that I know, rather than picking something out on YouTube. I would recommend this program to anyone. I mean, I am very full of myself, And I think that I know it all and that I have solutions. But I've learned so much in this program. And I think not only will I remember the name, I'll remember my coach's name, I'll remember the steps, because it already has become, but it will become part of my daily life, right? My actor in my head talking, it has, I say he has an accent now, that like he has the PQ accent, as I call it, every day, and trying to just think in that way and process in that way. And that's thanks to the program. It's thanks to the way the program is designed to check in every day with me. I feel like the notifications are encouraging on my phone, like get reconnected, do your recharge now. And I'm like, okay, I should do that. So it's been fun. I was lucky enough to go through the program with two people who not only believed in the program, or at least gave the program a fair shot. They believed in me to hold me accountable, but also believed in me to hold their confidence, to share their stories. And so I really value that. And I think that that's really important, that for those people that do choose to go through the program or going through it now, like share and be trusted, because that's really what the program is all about. I know that I've closed my laptop many times and I've had that vulnerability hangover, and it can be a lot. But I think the thing that brings me comfort is knowing that my other podmates have shared a lot too. I'm not the only one sharing. And so when I open up my laptop the next week, I don't feel any sort of judgment or anything like that, because we're all in the same circle. And so that's the only last thing I would say is trust and share, because that's what has made the program, at least for me, I think, so valuable with my two podmates. No, I feel like I have like a little lifetime group, like a four-person, well, including the coach, but a four-person, message where I can either seek help or celebrate wins, because I feel like those will be shared for a while. And when you make friends like that, when you share and trust, like those are the type of ones that in 3 years, I feel like I could pick up the phone and say, hey, podmate, this is what happened to me, what do you think? Because you just have that instant, such a deep connection, even though it was like such a short time. And I think the idea is that, if this program is with me every day, for many years to come, that it's with them too. So that connection, stays, and the ability to enhance that connection together, I think would be the goal. So we'll have
Yeah.
to